Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your WWE Survivor Series 2018 preview and predictions. We have got a grand total of 8 matches to cover here, one of which we know is going to be on the pre-show, which also potentially means that the Cruiserweight Championship might actually make the main show. That's mind-blowing in and of itself, but we do have 8 matches here. We're probably going to end up covering all 8 of them and live reacting to all 8 of them. John, I know you know about this card. I'm not sure if you've seen the full card in the description, but I'm curious how excited you are. Before you even say your number, I'm just going to say it ahead of time. I'm at like a solid 8, maybe a 7.5 at worst, hype level wise for this show.
You're around me. I will say straight away, I'm not as hyped for this as I am for TakeOver War Games, even with the shakeups made to the card, because one shakeup was really, to me, a major downgrade, and the other, a decent upgrade, but I still didn't even mind the original matchup, that being Bryan Lesnar as opposed to Styles Lesnar 2. I'm going to say that I'm at a respectable 7.5 for this card. It's fun, but really, to me, this is a throwaway pay-per-view with no real stakes. Again, we've been saying this the last few years when we cover Survivor Series. If they still did a draft rather than a shakeup, you really could make this fun by saying, well, whichever brand wins more brand versus brand matchups, you get maybe the first pick in the draft or whatever, or something like that. But there are no stakes here, only quote-unquote bragging rights, which is meaningless. In fact, if I'm really being perfectly honest, it's amazing that we live in a time where you can have a whole pay-per-view dedicated to brand versus brand, and yet the Mixed Match Challenge this year actually has more tangible stakes than Survivor Series, because the winning mixed team gets the number 30 spot in both the women's and men's Royal Rumble, respectively. And so, really, there's not much to get hyped about for this show except quote-unquote fantasy matchups. And again, even that kind of got tampered with a bit. But even so, I guess it may be a show where you can turn your brain off and really enjoy it, which is what I'm going to try and do come Sunday. So 7.5 out of 10 for me.
That's fair, man. I got to tell you, too, I really liked the idea that I had. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where rather than looking at the whole card and being like, oh, whoever wins the most matches, each brand gets some kind of benefit. I really like the idea of each match having an outcome. So say the SmackDown team wins the pre-show 10-on-10 Survivor Series Tag Team Elimination match. SmackDown then would get to bring a Raw team over to SmackDown. Suppose Team Raw happens to win the Raw 5-on-5 or the women's 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match, then Raw would get to draft a female over from SmackDown. Like the team that wins gets to draft somebody that could have been on their team over from the opposing team.
Right, yeah.
I think that would be a really interesting little twist to put on it, but obviously they are not interested in having any kind of stakes that they have to really kind of commit to, because they like to be able to just kind of have this shit happen for the sake of filling time and entertaining people. And yeah, it's kind of like you said, man, just turn your brain off and enjoy it. And that's kind of what I'm planning on doing on Sunday. But that all being said, I am still excited to do this because we have some discussions. Believe it or not, John, we don't even know everyone that's going to be on the show. There is still one spot open on the SmackDown women's team that is a complete wild card. It could be anyone that we don't know who it is. And I know this for a fact because I saw it on Wikipedia and I was like, oh, they have to have announced it on social media or something. And I looked on social media on WWE.com and nothing. There's nothing announcing who the 5th woman is on the SmackDown women's team. So that's a nice wild card that we're going to have a discussion about later. But for now, if you're ready, we can get into the pre-show match.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Well, we've got Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. We've got the B team. We've got the Revival. We've got the recently debuting on Raw Lucha House Party, and we've got the laughingstock of the Raw Tag Division, the Ascension, taking on the Usos, the New Day, Sanity, Gallows and Anderson, and the Colóns in a 10-on-10 Survivor Series Tag Team Elimination match. And this is perfect for the pre-show because it is just chock full of guys that nobody has heard from in weeks, if not months. And it's really unfortunate to me that the Usos, the New Day, and Chad Gable and the Revival are stuck, and even Gallows and Anderson, honestly, are stuck on the pre-show in this kind of match when I feel like they all deserve a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, brother, I'm going to be honest. There are a lot of bodies in this match, obviously, with it being a big 10-on-10 tag team match. I'm only really focused on one team, though, the Usos. Of every team that comprises these two big teams for Raw and SmackDown, the Usos seem to be the hottest right now. I'm still convinced that they're going to be going into a program with the Bar after Survivor Series, so I guess TLC. They would begin their feud for the SmackDown.
Oh, brother, I don't expect it to just be the Usos. I'm thinking we're going to get a triple TLC match also involving New Day.
Ooh, that could be. That could be. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a big TLC tag match, and we keep waiting for that. I feel like every year we bring up teams that they could do it with, but even just still being a bit more reserved, a bit more reined in, and keeping it to a team-on-team feud with Usos and the Bar, I still think Team SmackDown's going to win because the Usos, to me, of the whole collection, are the hottest tag team right now. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with Team SmackDown for the win here.
Okay, so basically, just because I'm trying to plot out in my mind what teams I'm projecting to win on the main show, I'm actually going to go with Team Raw to win this. And I think it's going to be relatively close. Like, I don't think it's going to be a blow up by any means, but I'm guessing that Roode and Gable being kind of, and the Lucha House Party maybe even too, being kind of the flavor of the week right now, I'm guessing they end up getting the winning pinfall or being the survivors at the end, I should say. But man, the Usos and the New Day are definitely the two teams with the most credibility right now. So I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. I just think it's the pre-show. They don't mind doing some weird, embarrassing shit that they might want to try and hide later on. So having the Usos and the New Day lose because, say, the Revival or the Lucha House Party or the Ascension get the better of them or whatever it happens to be. Maybe the B team does another one of their shitty, like, trip and fall and land on one of them and pin them kind of shticks. But yeah, I'm projecting, just because of the way that I think this card's going to play out, I am going to pick Team Raw to win this.
I can understand that, man. Let's move on.
All right. Up next, we will talk about the first and only championship match on this entire show, and I'm happy that it made the main show, and I'm thinking that's why. It's because it's the only match with real stakes to it. Buddy Murphy defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali is on a roll for sure, but I'm sticking with my boy Buddy Murphy to retain.
I just want to say, first of all, I do agree with you. Let me just say that at the outset, I think Buddy Murphy's retaining. However, I know we're no longer covering, at least for the moment, 205 Live. I did check in on them, though, because their main event was Lio Rush versus Cedric Alexander, and I don't know if you know this, Lio Rush is no longer undefeated.
I saw that Alexander beat him, yeah.
Yeah, which was disappointing to me. So it kind of shows me where I think 205 Live's booking is gonna go, and where it actually goes are two divergent paths. That said, Buddy Murphy is still the newly minted Cruiserweight champion. He's just getting his reign underway. Mustafa, I still think Mustafa will be a future Cruiserweight champion, but I can honestly see him winning it more at a Mania, honestly, and not at a place like this. So maybe he'll get another shot at Murphy down the road. I think it should be a fun match. I think we've seen what these guys can do before. If they're just given time to breathe, they could really do something special that may actually establish the precedent for the Cruiserweight title getting back on the main card, which would be a great thing to see. But I am going to go Buddy Murphy to retain. Again, agreeing with you, just keeping it to the point. So there you go.
All right. So we both got Buddy Murphy retaining. Let's get into our next match. Now we're just going to talk about all of the champion versus champion matches, because these are all the matches with no stakes whatsoever. But the WWE really has been like promoting them more than anything else. We're going to start with the championships that seem to pretty clearly matter the least, that being the tag titles. We've got AOP representing Raw and the Bar representing SmackDown.
Just to continue from the 10-on-10 matchup that would be the pre-show, as you have it slated in the description, I think the Bar is going to lose here, and the Usos are just going to throw that in their face. Like, oh, we showed out for SmackDown on Sunday, or we showed up, and, you just kind of flamed out because AOP decimated you. I am 100% confident AOP is winning this. Big Show being in the Bar's corner does make it a bit more of a toss-up, admittedly.
But you've got to imagine Drake Maverick. That's what I'm really looking forward to here, is any interaction between the Big Show and Drake Maverick, because that is some, I was going to say David and Goliath, but that's more like some Jack and the Beanstalk level shit. Just Jack and the Giant, brother.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing, and I will 100% confess to probably overthinking this, which I think is a pitfall when you're trying to think about the WWE product, and yet I continue to do it because I know no other nature, is that AOP just became Raw Tag Champions, and I think WWE is finally starting to find their footing as far as like how to book these guys and their presentation. I don't think the pedals or the foot's going to go off the gas. So I do think, yeah, they're going to beat the bar. That'll lend them some credibility. Plus, again, it gives fuel for the Usos to kind of taunt the champions and goad them into a match. And potentially, because I didn't forget about what you said, potentially New Day as well. Because, I mean, come on, New Day has been known for their sick burns. To make fun of the bar for not being able to beat AOP, that's right up New Day's alley. So both of those teams could really heckle them. But yeah, just for my scenario to work going into TLC, the bar has to take the loss here. So
Yeah.
AOP for the win.
Oh, man. I gotta tell you, I'm definitely struggling with this. This was the toughest one, I think, for me to pick, just because I care so little about both teams, and it seems like the WWE cares so little about both teams that they've put really no effort into either one of them. You know what, though? I'm not gonna dwindle. I'm not gonna, take too long on this, given how little the WWE seems to care. I'm just gonna agree with you. AOP wins.
Okay, let's move on.
Seth Rollins, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States Champion. We haven't even seen Nakamura in a while, but I think that we're going to get a little Dean Ambrose action here, and he's going to cost Rollins the win. Plus, we already know Nakamura is perfectly willing to fight a little dirty to get what he needs. So I'm going to pick Nakamura to win here.
You know what, dude? Again, I'm trying not to overthink like interferences and stuff, because I know I've done that at past Survivor Series and it doesn't really seem to happen. It really does seem to be like just let the brand settle it kind of thing. So let's see what I have my scorecard as currently, because that's another thing too. I do want to keep in mind like what I'm giving to SmackDown, what I'm giving to Raw. So I gave SmackDown the pre-show. Cruiserweights don't matter because that's not a brand thing. I gave Raw AOP versus the Bar. So currently Raw and SmackDown are 1-1. You know what? I'll throw in with you with Shinsuke as well, but I don't think it'll come down to interference. But I do think Shinsuke is going to win. I'll go Shinsuke. So that'll make SmackDown 2 Raw 1 right now. So
yeah. So now we get to an interesting one: Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte. If this would have been Ronda versus Becky, I would have been just end the discussion. Ronda's obviously winning. Did I say Ronda Charlotte twice? I meant if this would have been Ronda Becky, I would have just thrown my hands in the air and been like, okay, yeah, Ronda's winning. But it's Ronda Charlotte. And that really makes me second think, like, if Charlotte is Ronda's first loss and WWE sees Ronda Charlotte as a money feud, they could have Charlotte be her first loss and then have Ronda like chase Charlotte. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm curious about what you think about this match. Are you just kind of, hands in the air? Obviously, Ronda's going to win, LOL.
Here's the funny thing, dude. I would have been if we were doing WrestleMania preview and predictions. Because that's what we
really
would be commenting. Yeah, if this had
more time. And it's funny because this whole situation, I was literally just thinking about this yesterday. It's so funny because we went from, oh great, now we have to watch Becky job out to Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series, to, oh great, now we get to watch Becky job out to Ronda at fucking WrestleMania. God damn it.
See, and I'm not so quick to make the same draw as you. And look, I'll be honest.
I'm glad that you're not. I'm glad that it's not like a unanimous thing. But in my mind, the only reason that they changed that match was because they want to push Becky as the heel. They want her to get more momentum behind her, and they really do want to have her just get destroyed by Ronda as like a big payoff at Mania.
And you may be right about that. Hey, given how WWE has treated both performers, you have every reason in the world to think that way. My thing is, what I was getting ready to say, as far as my explanation, if Ronda Charlotte was happening at Mania, that would have been at least a good bit of time, more time than this anyway, for it to really breathe, for us to tell a story, whatever. This wasn't supposed to be the story. It was supposed to be Becky in this spot. Nia fucked everything up. And now, in fucking that up, the only good thing, because, I do like, ever since the beginning, we started doing Twill Wow, finding the silver lining in the storm. This might be the WrestleMania main event. They, because with the whole push with her story and stuff like that, you know that the women were going to main event Mania eventually, especially when it got mentioned more in interviews. If you were going to do a match to do that, Ronda Becky actually does seem to be the best one right now with how quickly personal it's becoming and with how Becky just masterfully uses social media even when she's not on TV. So, you know, I'm already penciling that in for Mania, and you seem to be doing the same, given the thought process you just walked us through. Given that now Ronda Charlotte is that throwaway matchup rather than the big payoff, I am just going to go Ronda for the win. Because admittedly, if this was the Mania match, I would have gone Charlotte. I would have said Charlotte's going to beat Ronda. You know, the queen reigns overall. Because ever since she beat Asuka, I just have it in my mind, Charlotte can beat anybody, especially like on that big stage. To me, though, it's just a bit different here. Survivor Series isn't as big of a deal. And I know Becky is counting on Charlotte, but that's kind of the thing. If this is really Becky's story, then Charlotte shouldn't be able to get the job done. That should only fuel her fire, being like, well, you can't send a woman to do the man's job. I could even see her tweeting that after Charlotte's loss. So, yeah, I think Ronda wins. It stokes the flames of Becky's determination to come back and beat Ronda and humble her. And, yeah, you set the stage perfectly for Ronda Becky at WrestleMania. So, Ronda 100% for the win here.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of research while you're talking. And Becky Lynch, believe it or not, has had a really, really significant spike in having her name searched on Google over the course of the last like week or two. It's actually a pretty great, pretty huge spike. I'm going to kind of zone in to just the last 7 days, just the last week. And yeah, she is absolutely killing it. I'm going to actually put her next to Ronda Rousey, because I had her next to Charlotte and she's just blowing Charlotte out. Yeah, dude, holy shit. This is obviously a very, very small sample size because only since Becky got punched. But I'm going to post a screenshot in chat so that you guys can see this trends chart. And you can clearly see Becky Lynch is getting way more notoriety and way more sort of buzz than Charlotte or Ronda.
Let's see. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's a hell of a spike there on November 13th at 9 p.m. I think that was Tuesday, right? Yeah, that was Tuesday. So it was when she made the big announcement about her replacement being Charlotte. All three of them had a little spike there, but Becky's was huge. So yeah, man, that's actually really, really encouraging to me.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that she's able to maintain it in any way whatsoever going forward. And my concern is that they're going to continue to push her as a heel. The hope is that they'll just turn Ronda heel, have her team up with Shayna and Jessamine and Marina, and have them all in her corner with Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha in Becky's corner for the main event of WrestleMania. That sounds perfect to me. But it's WWE, and there's about a 1% chance at best if they're actually going to do anything cool like that.
It's really amazing, though, since we're already kind of having a sidebar here concerning Becky. You know, how many times they try and willfully go a different path, and yet there's still amazing things to be mined from this story, at least the story that you, myself, and so many others see going on here.
Right.
Becky is so hot right now, and I hate to try and speak positively about her injury because, again, concussions are no joke. You and I talked about it a lot. You know how concerned I am about Becky, but putting that aside, an injury angle is always an opportunity to really reintroduce somebody into the fold in a really white hot way, and with like a lot of this momentum. They can keep trying to push her as a heel, but she even acknowledged the fans chanting her name when she was picking the replacement. She said, thank you, this and that. I think WWE, you talked about earlier, predicting this match, us throwing our hands up. I'm hoping WWE's gotten to the point where they're throwing their hands up and they're like, fuck it. Let's just make Ronda the heel. Let's have her gang, the real four horsewomen, as they call themselves, against the WWE four horsewomen, with ultimately it culminating Ronda, Becky, Mania, with, as you said, the three women on Ronda's side, and then, of course, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha on Becky's side, because if it's women main eventing WrestleMania, it's not just going to be those two women. They're going to want to get, in their minds, like the biggest players involved in this in some capacity. So what you're outlining makes perfect sense. And I'm going to say that WWE probably won't do exactly that, but I'm hoping they do something that at least, you know, makes sense given where Becky is, because she's got too much momentum to squander here. If they seriously are still trying to push her as the heel after this, especially with Ronda's comments, it just shows an unprecedented, to me, level of tone deafness on their part, which I didn't even think they could achieve. So for now, Ronda with the win. Becky's going to remark on it on Twitter. I'm just something again along the lines of don't send a woman to do the man's job, and just fighting back to meet Ronda at Mania. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I really do genuinely think that the smart decision is Ronda needs to be the heel, and especially with the promo that she cut last week and this week on Raw, and the Instagram posts that she's been putting up. She is a fucking heel. Like, come on.
Dude, absolutely.
Last week she literally bragged about being raised to be a fighter, and now this week she called Becky the millennial man, and then said that she can't take a hit. When Ronda took a hit, she went away for a year and contemplated suicide.
Yeah. So don't fucking talk down to other people not being able to take a hit. Because
but if you bring that up, you're totally a bully.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not Ronda acknowledging that she's practically already a heel now, I don't know what is. Like, she went on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon or something like that, and said that she thought that people who brought up her losses were bullies. And then she brings up Becky Lynch not being able to take a hit and calling her the millennial man. Like, if that's not her being her own idea of a bully, she's just a complete and total hypocrite.
I'd say you could tell an amazing story with that, though, because if you really start positioning Ronda as a legit competitor, sure, but somebody like with these deeply riddled insecurities that'll do anything it takes to win when her fighting just isn't enough on some occasions, hence Jessamine and Shayna and Marina, that's amazing. And then Becky, like, the WWE that I grew up, and I'm going to be that guy, the WWE that I grew up with, I could imagine Becky playing that clip from Jimmy Fallon and roasting her. I could really see them going to those places. Look, I say again, if you're going to have women main event a Mania, I'm going to be honest, it was never the women I doubted. It was the writing team making a story the caliber that was worthy of the WrestleMania main event, because I feel like they fail at that half the time with the men anyway. So I'm like, what are you going to do with the women when you don't even really give a shit about them? But this is your story. If you were ever going to have them do this, this is the feud. Don't fuck this up by trying to make Ronda the baby. In fact, honestly.
Yeah, well, and dude, even the promo that she cut last week about how, while you were doing all these random jobs, I was learning how to be a fighter. That, like, from Becky Lynch's perspective, that makes you the heel, because that's everything she's fighting against. She's fighting against people with, basically, let's be real, privilege. She's fighting against people who got a head start in life. She's the one that's trying to scratch and claw and fight her way to where she thinks she belongs, whereas people like Ronda and Charlotte get that plane ride to the top of the mountain and say that they work just as hard.
And I'll just say, too, as a quick aside from all the talk about the feud, for, like, Charlotte fans, and I'm not even saying that pejoratively, I'm being 100% sincere, for fans of Charlotte, I almost wonder, like, if you wouldn't want her to lose as well, because it's interesting seeing her start. They were doing a story with her originally. Was she going to be the team captain for the women's team or not? She felt like she hadn't earned it. She was having self-doubt, losing the championship bid. Go further with that. I say, have fucking Ronda beat her, and then you set Charlotte on this trajectory, and then, hell, maybe with both Charlotte and Asuka, because Asuka still hasn't done fuck all, on the decline, you could have another big women's match at Mania, Charlotte, Asuka too, saying like, hey, my downturn began when you beat me, and then when you beat me, when I beat you, I thought I was going to be untouchable, and then I found that I've just never been more vulnerable. So we both need this in our own weird ways. You do Charlotte, Asuka too, and then hopefully have Asuka get her win back. So I even feel like for Charlotte's character, it's good for her to lose, because it takes her in unexplored territory. And honestly, going back to Ronda Becky, I know this isn't going to happen, but with Ronda really seeming very arrogant and like very uppity in her tone, like, oh, I'm a fighter and you're this kind of thing. I would like for her to not only tap out Charlotte with the armbar, but maybe keep the armbar applied after the bell. Maybe do some damage, really rub it in and be a dick. Maybe cut a post-match promo, bragging about how it was easy because a fighter is always going to beat a wrestler. Something like that. I would really love her to dig her heels in the heel turn. So we'll see what happens. But I think just straightforwardly, Ronda hopefully with the win here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw my hands up like I was talking about earlier, and I'm gonna just agree with you and pick Ronda to win. Up next, we've got Brock versus Bryan. I know that there are people saying that they think Bryan can win. I am not a part of that group. There's just I would love for Bryan to win in like a shitty heelish way, but I just can't pick him to win. I gotta pick Brock.
Right. And to me, I'm gonna be that guy. I am gonna pick Bryan to win.
Oh wow!
And you should have seen it coming, man. I was even telling you we were playing Rocket League that I was thinking about it. Like, so you kind of knew it was coming.
Oh.
I'm gonna go Bryan. Yeah, he's a heel. I think you can protect Brock. Hell, think about the matches he did with The Undertaker when The Undertaker had that really brief heel turn, which it's amazing that Brock could be a babyface in any context, but I digress. Low blow, submission. I'm not going to tap out. Fuck you, pass out. Do I think it's going to be the same here? Possibly, but I'm not going to go with that. I would personally like, honestly, something similar to AJ. Maybe he gets a low blow. Hell, maybe it takes 2 running knees instead of 1. But ultimately, I would love to see a heel Bryan beat Brock Lesnar, because then you get to rub it in AJ's face even more. Not only did I take your WWE Championship, not only did I end your 371-day reign, I did what you were itching to do and you couldn't do last year. I beat Brock Lesnar. Face it, AJ, categorically, undeniably, unequivocally, whatever word you want to use, I am better than you. And then we go to our TLC match.
John out here going full Lars Sullivan on our asses.
Lars wishes he was me. But regardless, I do think it's a great opportunity for Bryan to get some major heel heat. Brock is automatically going to go back to being a heel in his own right when he doesn't show up the next night on Raw. And yeah, I just feel like if you're WWE, and here's the thing, here's where I kind of shoot myself in the foot. It's not like they have the strongest precedent for doing this, but you prioritize the talent that's going to show up tomorrow. That's why when Punk did his original shoot interview, I understood his gripes about having Lesnar go over him, because it's like, well, who's going to be on Raw tomorrow? Oh, it's me. But I'm gonna be that guy, since this is a pretty much throwaway show anyway, and you got to turn your brain off. I'm not gonna go with that cynicism. I'm gonna say Bryan wins. Then he's able to just taunt the fuck out of AJ with it, and just be like, yeah, I did what you couldn't do, and I'm also gonna be able to do what you're gonna try and do, and that's keep the WWE Championship, which you failed to do as well after I kicked you in the nuts. So Bryan with the controversial win via low blow and maybe 2 knee pluses, maybe even 3 knee pluses, but he'll cheat to win.
Maybe a knee plus into a label lock.
Maybe. I definitely see heel Bryan getting the win. If this is babyface Bryan, oh my God, Brock Lesnar all day, every day. But I think somebody that's finally giving into cheating, Mr. Small Package, I think is going to get that win. So we'll see what happens.
You know what, dude? I genuinely do hope you're right. That would make me so happy. I just can't, in all good consciousness, pick.
I totally get it. Again, if I'm being honest with you, this is me just kind of being like, this pay-per-view doesn't fucking matter. I'm not going to give it more thought than it deserves. And I do think it would be smart, again, to prioritize the feuds that we're going to be seeing the week after the show. So, yeah. I know, I totally get why you're going with Lesnar, though, because WWE, they fucking love Lesnar for reasons I don't understand. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, Mark, I wouldn't have Brock tap. I would have him pass out.
Oh, yeah, Brock wouldn't tap out. If they're going to do a submission type finish, he's definitely passing out while maybe flipping Bryan off. I don't know. And then Bryan just kind of smiling all the way because, yeah, I got the beast to flip me off. Fuck you, people.
Dude, I can't wait for Tuesday for Bryan promos alone. Bryan heel promos are legend stuff.
I was even going to ask you, dude, am I the only one looking forward to this match, though, just to see heel Bryan work? Yeah. Like, just to see him work the match with Lesnar.
I wonder if he's going to do that, like, animalistic style that he teased on Total Divas.
I hope so, dude. I want to see him do what AJ tried to do last year, but like more malicious, just chop down the redwood. Like, I want to see him really pick Brock apart. I don't think, because I heard some people be like, oh, he's going to dismantle. He's not going to dismantle Brock. But do I think he's going to get some vicious moments in where he takes away some of his mobility? Oh, hell yeah. I think it's going to be really amazing to see, like, the American Dragon come out. And I hope we see a repeat of the movie he did to AJ. That fucking curb stomp he did, I couldn't stop watching that shit. If he did that to Lesnar, dude, I'd lose my fucking shit. Because, man, somebody, like, Mullen.
You mean when he just, like, held his arms and just stomped his face away?
Stomped his fucking head in. Yeah, I want to see him do that to Brock, honestly, because people are always complaining about, like, the Germans that Brock did, especially to the Singh brothers recently. Because they did look nasty. I actually did get a look at them. I'm like, ooh. But, you know, Bryan doing something like that, I don't know. See, to me, and again, I will readily admit, everything that I'm saying is more than likely fantasy booking. Like, we've watched the WWE product enough. We know what they actually do compared to what we want them to do. But I don't understand why you don't prioritize your more consistent act. Consistent in the sense of, like, he's going to do more TV. He's going to do more pay-per-views. He's going to do all this. And he's a newly minted heel. Like, he's been heel the first time in, like, what, Ashton? 4 years, 6 years? It feels like it's been several years.
The last time he was heel was 2013.
So I was 5 years. So right in between 4 and 6. Yeah, 5
Unless
years.
you count his, like, 2-week-long run with the Wyatt family, and that
which I personally don't. don't.
So then, yeah, it was early 2013 then, because it was like pre and early Team Hell No, and that was like early summer 2013. And even then, like, summer 2013 was when he was starting to do the crazy, like, hot tag shit where he would just run in and get offense on everyone. And then he, like, became the first person to get a winning pinfall against the Shield in a 3-on-3 match and, like, all that shit. That was summer of 2013.
I just want to address something real quick too. I don't know if hypothesis, because he's trying to say something to me. He's like, DQ's count. Hypothesis, I'm genuinely asking. I don't know if you're telling me that you feel like AJ's going to run in and maybe pummel Bryan. But again, I overthought it last year's Survivor Series. I'm like, oh, what if Jinder Mahal comes out and does all this shit? I feel like on shows like this, they like to leave those angles alone because it's a more gimmicky pay-per-view that's brand versus brand. I think they want to keep it that way.
And I also think that, like, they, as far as kayfabe goes, I think brand loyalty is more important than personal feuds for the most part until we get to the 5-on-5 stuff.
Right. And even then, I'm a bit gun shy, honestly. But keeping it to this match right now, because I know we're going to get to the big 5-on-5.
I only brought that up because of last year's bullshit with Triple H.
Yeah. But
God, yeah. That was still, I just loved that moment. Braun getting him up in the corner, Triple H just looking like he's about to lose his own life.
And then the memes that came out, choke me harder, daddy. But yeah, I honestly hope Bryan just has a great outing here. It's not going to be a squash. It's not going to be a dismantling. I just want Bryan to be I am really vibing with this new Bryan already. And depending on the work that he puts out, he turned heel just in time. Because isn't our next 5-5-5s in January? Like, isn't that around that time? So, yeah, I'm hoping Bryan has, like, a great run. Because he could easily find himself in a nice spot in my Fave 5 for the main roster. So, yeah, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to throw behind Bryan. Bryan's going to beat Lesnar. So, there you go.
All right, man. Well, we've been disagreeing a little bit more on this one. Up next, though, we've got our 2 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination matches. We'll start with the women. I am picking Team SmackDown, and I think that, I'm thinking the 5th member is going to be kind of the most interesting part of this. I really want to, once you give, I want you to give your prediction as far as which team's going to win. Then I want to talk about who the 5th member is going to be. Then I want to talk about elimination order.
Right. Wow. Okay, so that's a lot. First of all, let me just straight away give my win, since again I've always been saying in Survivor Series that it's always a tie right up until the main event. Because I gave SmackDown the last win with Bryan, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Raw here for this win. So I'll be going with Mickie James, Natalya, Nia Jax, Tamina, and Ruby Riott.
Okay.
Asuka, Carmella, and Naomi, and whoever the
yeah. So actually, you know what? I'm glad you said that because I do want to recap. So I'm gonna recap my picks so far, and I want you to recap yours. So for the pre-show match, I have Team Raw winning. Then I have AOP winning, so that's 2-0 Raw. Then I have Nakamura winning, so that's shit. I just realized I'm really heavily favoring Raw, aren't I? God damn it. Anyway, so I have Team Raw for the tag teams, AOP, Nakamura for SmackDown, so we're 2-1. Ronda Rousey, and Brock Lesnar. So we're 4-1 now. So I'm definitely wrong. You know what? Honestly, I could probably just switch my pre-show prediction and be back to good because that would make me, pretty much even. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just switch my pre-show prediction over to SmackDown. So I'll be picking SmackDown for the pre-show, AOP, Nakamura, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar. So then I'm at 3-1, I think. Did I do my math wrong again? That's not a Raw SmackDown thing. 3-2. I'm at 3-2. Okay. I'm at 3-2. So yeah, I'm picking SmackDown to win. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, and just my recap, I am picking the SmackDown tag teams to win the pre-show. Again, cruiserweights don't matter. Picking AOP over the bar, so that's 1-1. Picking Nakamura over Seth, so that's 2-1 SmackDown. But then I have Ronda beating Charlotte, so they're tied again. And then I have Bryan taking the lead back for SmackDown again for 3-2. Right. So, and then of course I have the women winning this, so it's 3-3 at that point.
So basically, after I change my pre-show prediction, we agree on everything for the first 5 matches. The pre-show and then the first 4 matches on the main show. And then our disagreements start with match 5, where I'm picking Lesnar, you're picking Bryan, and then match 6, I'm picking Team SmackDown, you're picking Raw.
Yes.
Okay. Just to, an attempt at being quick, not actually being quick, but we tried to the recap, just to kind of let you guys know where we are so far. So we've got the 5-on-5 women's match. John, I first of all, before we get to any kind of elimination order, who do you think the 5th partner is going to be for Team SmackDown? You think it's just going to be Mandy Rose or Lana or some shit?
Yeah, I'll go Lana. I don't think it'll be anybody like that big because I don't think.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I know we both predicted Kyrie to win, but if she doesn't, it could be her.
Ooh, fuck.
Yeah, because they've really painted Team Raw as a heel team and Team SmackDown as a face team. Because Raw, the heels, everyone but Natalya is a heel on Team Raw, and then for SmackDown, I don't know if Sonya Deville is a heel or a face, but everyone else is a face on Team SmackDown.
Yeah, and I know Hypothesis, he's mentioned twice now because I'm seeing his messages like Nikki Cross debuted. I honestly think that was only a special appearance because they were in the UK.
What though, dude? That's still a distinct possibility. That might have been a debut. I don't know. We don't know if it was a debut or not. Although, you know what though? I bet it wasn't a debut because she was not out there with the rest of the women's locker room this Tuesday. So it wasn't a debut.
No. I'm gonna play it safe, dude. I'm not really gonna try and overthink it. And hell, if I'm wrong, that just means a pleasant surprise on the Survivor Series card.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Lana. Playing it safe.
It's sad when Lana is our hopeful pick because I'm still not convinced it won't be Mandy Rose.
Right? Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So, here we go. Now, we're both kind of hoping that God, that just sounds ridiculous. We're both hoping that the 5th partner is Lana. So how do you see this actually going? How do you see, as far as eliminations and stuff? Because I personally think Team Raw is just going to self-destruct because you've got Natalya and Ruby Riott on the same goddamn team.
Yeah. I see. See, whenever you ask us to do these mini games, I always have to kind of rack my brain because I never really see it coming, even though I should. So I always have to think on my feet. I think I see Sonya Deville getting eliminated first, which is kind of a shame because I actually wouldn't really mind if she lasted a bit. Then I could see Carmella getting eliminated. So can you just keep track of what I'm saying here? Because I'm not writing this down. I just want to make sure.
You said Sonya Deville first, then Carmella.
Yeah, so SmackDown will have 3 people left, but then we'll see Mickie James eliminated. Why do I feel like Natalya and Ruby Riott can cancel each other out? But no, I did say I think they're going to self-destruct because of that duo being in the same team. Right. I'm going to say Mickie James, and then I think they'll find a way to get Tamina eliminated.
Dude, I know that this isn't the right show to be trying to predict what's going to happen in future months and Rumble and stuff. I'm telling you, man, Nia is going to take that fucking title off Ronda, and they're going to have Nia be the Raw Women's Champion, and she's going to have a monster heel run now because of the Becky heat.
Well, I can tell you, Ashton, just to kind of jump the gun, because I'm just horrible at this shit of like predicting eliminations. Really, what I had in my mind and what I was getting ready to say, I think Nia is going to be the sole survivor for Team Raw, and she's going to last eliminate Asuka because people still love Asuka, so that's just going to feed her heat. I think it's going to come down to her for Raw, Asuka for SmackDown. Maybe at most, because Raw is more of a heel team, it'll be Nia and Ruby. But I do agree with you about Natalya and Ruby taking each other out. But I just
I was even thinking it would come down to Nia and Tamina for Team Raw, and then for SmackDown it would come down to Asuka and Naomi, because that's like basically that's just two female tag teams then.
Right, that does make sense. But either way, I could see that being thinned even more, and just Nia being the sole survivor for Raw.
And I'm going to pick Asuka to be the sole survivor for SmackDown, because I think we're going to get like, I don't know, maybe some kind of cheaty shit from SmackDown to take out Nia to kind of get revenge for Becky.
Maybe, dude.
Maybe we get like a 3 or a 4-on-1 beatdown on Nia, including women from SmackDown that have already been eliminated, to eliminate her.
Right.
I can see that happening.
I fucking hate that I'm even giving Nia the win right now. Like, I kind of want to vomit instead of...
Dude, I know. It really does come down to either she's going to win or it's going to take a lot to eliminate her. And I'm just hoping they go it takes a lot to eliminate her route, because she's getting the gender push, brother.
Well, dude, that's why I'm picking her as a sole survivor, last eliminating somebody like Asuka. Because last year at Survivor Series, Asuka was the sole survivor for the women's team. And then they're going to play that up. But this time, Nia is just too much to overcome. Plus, in all of the matches Asuka and Nia have had, I don't think Nia's ever beaten Asuka. So that'll be proof that, like, she's ready for Ronda, because now I finally beat Asuka. I injured Becky. I'm unstoppable. And that, I think they want to make Nia Ronda a bigger deal, which is so weird because Ronda's also being a bitch right now. So I'm like,
yeah, it's like there are two realistic routes that they could go. They could either legitimately build up Nia and have her take the title from Ronda so that Ronda can win the Royal Rumble and go to SmackDown, or Ronda just squashes Nia because Nia's getting punished finally.
Yeah, it really. Oh my god, fuck you, Survivor Series, for making me think this much when you're really just a fucking worthless pay-per-view. Because the question with that is, like, because we both agree, you and I, that Ronda Becky is the women's match at Mania, if not the main event at Mania, because of their whole campaign and their propaganda and all that shit.
Yes.
So the question then fundamentally becomes, how do we get there? Because Becky, thankfully, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, thankfully, has not vacated the title yet. So it's not like she can, like, win a Rumble, whatever. She's still the defending champion for now.
So basically, one of two things needs to happen. Either Becky needs to lose or vacate the title, then win the Rumble to challenge Ronda, or the other way around. Ronda needs to drop the title and then win the Royal Rumble to challenge Becky.
Right.
And I just think, I've been saying it for months, even back when everyone was like, oh, Charlotte's winning the Royal Rumble so that she can go to Raw. I'm like, I wouldn't be so sure. Ronda might win the Rumble so she can go to SmackDown because of the Fox deal.
Right. And that's true. You have been saying that a lot, and we have to keep the Fox deal in mind because, I mean, I keep expecting dramatic changes. I mean, hell, with everything with Roman Reigns, I thought that would be a big explosion. And while they've done some things, there really haven't been any big seismic changes in programming, at least yet. Fox deal really might change that because money moves like everything. There is a lot of money coming in there.
Cash rules everything around me.
Exactly. Yeah, man, fuck all of this. I hate that this is even happening. I hate that I could even be giving Nia this much of a spotlight where she beats fucking Asuka, because I feel bad for Asuka too. Like, Jesus Christ, how much more can this poor woman take? But yeah, I'm sticking with it, man. I think they're gonna make Nia this dominant force, and I could even see her having a post-match promo, which, Christ, I'm not looking forward to that either.
No, don't say that. Don't speak that into the universe, man.
You know I might be right, and I think that's where your fear's coming from. And, you know, I just feel like he's going to
just don't, okay?
Well, yeah, that's how I know I'm right. But, you know, I just feel like she's going to lean into the Becky thing, and then she's going to brag about how she beat Asuka, and then Ronda's next. It's almost like she has a hit list. And fuck Nia Jax, and I hate everything. Everything hurts, and I'm dying, okay? So yeah, Nia sole survivor. Ew.
You know what? I'm going to say Nia gets pinned last, but she gets taken out by both Asuka and Naomi. I think that Gloska survive together.
You better fucking survive, Gloska. We're counting on you.
Yeah.
Those are dark
Watch,
times.
watch Asuka be the first one eliminated for Team SmackDown.
Yeah, dude. And here's the thing: you say that laughing, and I think it's only because you know that that's a distinct possibility. And
it is. That's the thing. Like, we've seen it happen before. I mean, it could happen. We could have all 5 members of Team SmackDown get eliminated before anyone on Raw does. We've seen that before with women's Survivor Series matches.
Honestly, and I am going to be that dickbag, I just hope Nia doesn't hurt anybody else in this fucking match. Maybe she should be eliminated early so she's not a detriment to anybody.
Yeah, really. No kidding on that.
You don't need a fucking liability in that ring. Like, again, I'm not even trying to pour, so I'm being serious. Like, I would hate Survivor Series reports, oh, Asuka, tore her shoulder, or this one got a good guy. It's like, fucking Nia Jax. But, yeah, man, I agree with you. This has gender stench all over it. Can cause Finn Balor.
I wonder though, you know what? Speaking of women that Nia has injured, and the fact that there's a list of more than 1 or 2 at this point is really gross. But speaking of women that Nia has injured, I wonder if the 5th woman will be Zelina if she's healthy and gets cleared yet.
Dude, I was thinking Zelina, and I love her, and I think she's like a dynamo, and yeah, but I don't know. I wasn't really saying. I still feel like Lana because it is more of a babyface team, and Zelina is still kind of a heel. Which is the point that you made earlier. Raw's looking more heel heavy, and SmackDown seems to be more babyface heavy. Yeah, I just don't see it because really, yeah, even Sonya Deville got kind of a bit of a babyface pop when she told Mandy Rose off. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely shaping up as face versus heel kind of situation. But I think we've pretty much said our piece. I'm expecting Natalya and Ruby Riott to cost each other this match where, one of them will distract the other. And then once the person's eliminated, they'll beat down the person and cause them to get eliminated. And then it'll really I do expect it to kind of come down to like a 5-on-3 with Mickie, Nia, and Tamina versus Team SmackDown. Or, Mickie or not Mickie, Natalya and Ruby could just, they cancel each other out, but it doesn't happen at the very beginning of the match at the outset. It might happen a little later. We never know. But if I was writing it, why the hell would Natalya and Ruby Riott coexist on the same team for more than a minute, more than 30 seconds even? Like, they are at a point right now, story-wise, that they fucking hate each other. And really, it's Natalya who fucking hates Ruby. And she's on a team full of heels, so why not just get herself eliminated by attacking Ruby Riott in the first place? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope Ruby makes Natalya cry again. That would make me give this match 5 stars. Just seeing Natalya in utter despair, that would be delicious.
Remember how she used to be like a crying fetishist? She used to go around with Beth Phoenix trying to get other women to cry all the time.
Yeah, who broke now, bitch? But yeah, so here's rooting for Ruby Riott to once again be a terrible human being, which is the only kind of human being that I care to associate with. So yeah, Natalya, if you want to eliminate yourself, that'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Up next, and finally, we get to our 5-on-5 men's Elimination Survivor Series match. And yeah, we've got Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley representing Raw. The Miz, Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy representing SmackDown. And I hate to go there and be that guy, but Jesus Christ, this match is one-sided in favor of Raw.
Yeah. Fuck me, man. Because at this point I do have a tied scorecard, so whoever I pick for this, I'm pretty much saying that brand has supremacy in the loosest sense, because again, no fucking stakes for the next calendar year. Didn't SmackDown win last year?
Yes, I believe they did.
Yeah. Just with Braun and Drew alone, I gotta go with Raw.
Yeah.
I think I can't even think about fantasy booking.
You're so torn right now.
No, here's the thing. I'm not torn about the winner because I'm confident about Raw, because Drew's the guy right now. I mean, he just destroyed Kurt Angle, and I think they want to give him another great moment here. Maybe him and Braun both would be remaining on the team, and then we would go home happy with Braun power slamming Drew. I could easily see that happening. So pretty much kind of a replicate of no, you know what? I said Team SmackDown won last year. I don't think they did. Did they? Wasn't that Raw because it was Kurt Angle and Triple H and Braun on the same team?
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, the Team Raw won the men's 5-on-5, but I think SmackDown had the most wins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like if you're keeping track of which brand had the most wins, I'm pretty sure SmackDown did last year.
Right. Okay. But regardless, yeah, I just see maybe Braun and Drew being the last two guys on Team Raw. And I would love, if he wasn't a heel, I could see this happening. I would love for it to come down to Joe and Strowman for their brands and them just having a Haas fight. I don't see that, though. I could see, though, let me look at Team SmackDown again. Honestly, dude, you know what a beautiful story would be? Is if Miz won this for Team SmackDown as the sole survivor with Bryan as a heel. I would fucking love that shit because I don't know. I would have to imagine that they're going to revisit Bryan and Miz at some point. And Miz, I could see him getting babyface reactions. You know, even if you think the guy's a jerk, he does have a certain air of likability to him these days. And I think if they really wanted to make an effort, in my opinion, you could make a babyface here if you wanted to. So looking at this team, you know what? Fuck Shane McMahon being on this team first and foremost. Just want to get that off my chest too.
Oh shit, dude! Actually, no. Raw pretty well dominated last year. Raw because the Shield beat the New Day, so that's one for Raw. Team Raw beat Team SmackDown in the women's and the men's 5-on-5 matches, so that's 3-0 for Raw. Baron Corbin beat the Miz, so at the time, I believe that was SmackDown beating Raw, so that's one for SmackDown. The Usos, who were on SmackDown at the time, beat Cesaro and Sheamus, who were Raw Tag Champs at the time, so that's one more for SmackDown, for SmackDown. Charlotte beat Alexa, but then Brock beat AJ. So it was Raw did win last year 4-3. So Raw actually did pick up the win last year.
Right. Dude, because ideally either Miz would be the sole survivor for SmackDown, which he'd never shut the fuck up. And here's the thing too, and I hate to even be bringing this show up, but let's not forget at WWE old fucks making big bucks, Miz got injured and he couldn't finish it. Well, injured, quote unquote, in his match, and he couldn't finish, and Shane took his place, and he said, if you don't win this, you're fired. Like, I could see Miz really getting that kind of redemption. Like, I didn't get to win the World Cup, and Shane took my place, but I'm seeing this through, and I win it for the team. I'm actually gonna jump ship. I'm actually gonna say somehow, even with fucking Strowman and McIntyre on the same team, which they hate each other. So if your logic about Natalya and Ruby self-destructing is true, I don't see why that also wouldn't be true in this case with Strowman and McIntyre. I'm actually gonna say Team SmackDown, the scrappy fucking underdogs, are gonna win, and that Miz is gonna be the sole survivor for Team SmackDown. It's crazy. I feel crazy.
Dude, what if they do what Ace the Skylord's suggesting and have Shane be the sole survivor just to inflate his best in the world ego even more?
Oh my god.
That would be the most McMahon thing that you could possibly do.
I will say this, if they do that shit, which is the most McMahon thing you could possibly do, I could just see Shane coming through Gorilla. Vince, I'm proud of you, son. Finally earning the distinction of being my seaman. It's just, I would do the quickest wrap up in live reactions history. I'd be like, thank you all for coming out. Like the video. I should take us home. Please take us home. Please end this. Please end this. Fuck. Hope you're still here, Dragon Man. I would hate that. I would hate that with every fiber of my fucking being. I've really hated the WWE product for a long time now. Like, and see, though, that's the only thing. You either laugh or you cry. I'll be laughing on the
Chris
outside.
Venegas is piling it on Shane for Royal Rumble winner 2019.
Alex Foster speaking my sentiments fucking-exactly. Ace, if they do that, I'm going to laugh to escape crying. That's what I'm, because I'm just going to want to choke back the tears because I fucking love wrestling except when it's awful. Then it's the worst thing on earth. No, you know what? Fuck that. I'm letting it ride. This is a fucking nothing pay-per-view. Fucking SmackDown wins. They're gonna find a way to do it. I'm telling you, Miz is gonna be the sole survivor. Maybe even if Miz isn't the sole survivor, he's either gonna share it with Ray, who's still a big-time babyface.
I was thinking Ray
or Shane, because Miz is already saying, "Look, Shane, we might as well share the trophy. I did most of the work, but then you got the win when it really mattered. So maybe it'll be the same."
Ray is going to go out here and get like 2 or 3 eliminations before he gets taken out. Like Ray is going to eliminate Strowman, McIntyre, and Lashley.
If they actually have Shane win everything and just inflate that ego, I will be in so much pain. I will just be asking you to just take us off the air so I can just go in a corner and cry. I don't.
Yeah, honestly though, dude,
I
I don't really care. I don't really care that Raw won last year. I'm still picking them to win this.
That's understandable. And you know what? It's not even me being influenced by Raw winning last year. I just think with Bryan being a heel, and they've got to revisit that feud at some point, they might actually make an honest run at Miz being a babyface. And what better way to start than fucking him being the sole survivor? Let's see. How many heels are even on Team SmackDown? I mean, Miz is still technically a heel for all intents and purposes. So Miz and Joe, really, because Shane, he didn't really seem to brag about the win. But,
it's actually really interesting because in 2016, which was the first year after the new brand split, that was the first Survivor Series after the new brand split, there weren't any like champion versus champion matches. It was literally just Raw storylines plus the big 5-on-5 and 10-on-10 Survivor Series type matches. And Raw won 2 out of 3 of those too. So Raw just fucking always wins at Survivor Series. And I'm just going to stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. You're going Raw. I'm going SmackDown. We'll see who gets the W. And
yeah, I'm going Raw, and I'm going to say Braun, Drew, and Finn all survive. And only Ziggler and Lashley get eliminated on that team.
Because it's like we're such a fucking scrub.
Honestly, Lashley might even survive. Ziggler might be the only one eliminated unless Drew just doesn't allow it. He's just like, no, Dolph, you will not be eliminated. You're sticking around with me.
I can't wait for him to just Claymore kick Dolph in the face because they came in with this whole, we work harder than the entire locker room. And here Drew is progressing to near main event status and Dolph's just like breathing. He needs a fucking like respirator. Wait for me, Drew. I'll be right there. And Drew's just looking at him like, you sorry sack of ass. Like, the fuck am I doing liking you around for? I'm telling you, man, it's going to be beautiful when he turns on Dolph and just throws the garbage out.
Dude, but, and the thing is, like, I'm just waiting for one of them to get a singles title around their waist again. Because, like, Dolph had the Intercontinental title for just a hiccup until he lost it back to Seth. And now I'm just waiting because I really do feel like they're going to have a singles match for a championship at WrestleMania against each other.
Yeah, it's gotta come down to something because honestly, if Dean didn't turn heel, I was still pushing hard for Drew to be the next Intercontinental Champion. But I'm thinking that'll probably be Dean. We'll have to see. But yeah, man, I mean, Drew is just cooking on every cylinder. His destruction of Angle was fucking delicious. And I just can't wait to see what he does next. So I'll tell you, if Team Raw wins, though, and you're right, I fully expect McIntyre to be the standout as opposed to Braun. Like, I could really see. Honestly, if I was to throw in on Team Raw, which again, I am sticking to Team SmackDown, but I will say this. If Raw is to win, I could see McIntyre having a similar performance to Reigns where he eliminates like 3 or 4 guys. Like,
dude, I have a little bit of fun little trivia for you.
Sure. There
have been 2 performers that have been on Team SmackDown for all 3 post new brand split Survivor Series. Do you want to guess who those 2 guys are?
Who are they? I'm not going to bother. That'd take way too much time. Probably flounder all over the place.
Randy Orton and Shane McMahon.
I knew because you sounded like you could barely keep it together that one of them had to be Shane. Like,
dude, he's been in every one. 2016, 2017, 2018. He and Orton are the only common denominators on SmackDown.
And Orton is conspicuously absent this year.
No, he isn't. He's in it, isn't he?
No, he isn't. He's not on this team. Not that I'm seeing. Yeah, it's Miz, Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. And Randy's not in any other matches on this card. So,
what? Wikipedia's wrong then.
What did Wikipedia say?
Wikipedia says that Team SmackDown is Miz, Orton, Mysterio, Joe, and Hardy. They don't have Shane in this, so one of them's not in it.
Yeah, well, God, with Shane's ego, it seems more likely that Orton isn't in it. Yeah, I mean, I could even look on WWE.com real quick just to see their official match listing. But yeah, Orton, which is weird because I've always associated Survivor Series with Orton, that and SummerSlam. And yeah, he just doesn't seem to be here unless he takes
Shane is definitely still in the graphic.
Wow. Oh my God.
He's right in the front too. He's in front of everyone. It's him, and then right behind him is Jeff Hardy and Miz, and then in the back is Joe and Ray.
Dude, I kind of want, like, because Chris Venegas just said he wanted, like, Orton to RKO Shane. That would be amazing. But if it comes down to Orton and I'd love to see Orton versus McIntyre just to see Orton sell a Claymore kick. And just for, like, McIntyre to pin his ass. Like,
dude, but, like, that's the thing, though, is that if Orton really ends up not being in it, and I'm expecting him to replace somebody because that was a heavy rumor, it'll probably end up being, like, Jeff Hardy, if I'm guessing, or I don't know. But we'll see. But if Orton really isn't in it, then that means that the only common denominator in all 3 years for SmackDown is Shane O'Mac, baby.
Oh my God. Oh, what hole is the silver spoon dug us into? Jesus.
I thought you were going to say, what hell have we crawled into?
Yeah, that too. God damn it.
A fresh one, John. A fresh one.
So I have SmackDown ultimately winning these illusory bragging rights that have no tangible effects on the product whatsoever, and you're going with Raw locking it down.
I sure am. I'm going with Raw for the 3rd year in a row, brother.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's Survivor Series preview and predictions. Somehow this preview actually made me hype less for Survivor Series.
Oh no!
I think I'm down to a 6.5 for Survivor Series.
Oh no! See, you're down to a 6.5, so you dropped a full point. I said at the beginning that I was an 8, maybe a 7.5 at worst, and I just kind of settled in at that 7.5. So I'm at a 7.5. You're at a 6.5. I feel bad now.
Just all the conversations really filled me with dread because I realized what product we're dealing with, and happiness never wins. Yeah. If there's one jobber greater than Brooklyn Brawler, it is happiness. Just every fucking time. So,
that's just the most depressing thing that anyone said to me today. So thanks for that.
Your tone. So yeah, I'm dreading this pay-per-view. I don't know when being a wrestling fan felt so masochistic, but I miss it.
God, just think a week ago, we were riding on cloud 9 because of Ultima Lucha Quattro's finale. Ugh.
God, for every time I criticize season 4, I'm sorry. I think it's just really having a good thing and taking advantage of it. And then you see everything that could happen on this show, and you're like, wow, I really did have it good. What happened? So
you really did turn around 360 degrees and then go in the opposite direction.
I want to thank everybody who came to listen to our preview and predictions. Please leave a like on the video if you haven't, and please tune in. I mean, specifically for this, if you care about the Survivor Series content, Sunday at, what would it be, Ashton? 7 p.m. Eastern?
7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, 7 p.m.
An hour early, baby.
So you get to witness me taking up drinking very passionately for the first time.
We will, although I will say, we will be live reacting to just the match on the pre-show. So when that match starts, we go live.
Right.
That'll be before 7. So that'll be at probably 6:40, 6:35-ish, somewhere around there.
Right. So yeah, that's
You sound so defeated.
I hate everything, honestly. So yeah,
you know what's really exciting though?
Please don't let it be sarcasm. But
not sarcastic. We have takeover tomorrow to get us really happy first.
That is true, but the thing is that.
But then, since I mean, you already asked for me to be sarcastic. Do you want to know what's even more exciting?
Survivor Series the day after.
The Raw after Survivor Series live reactions.
Oh my God. Hey James, how's that pack looking?
I don't think James is even in chat anymore. He bailed.
I don't blame him. I don't blame his father for bailing, my father for bailing, or anybody bailing on anything. I'm starting to see that bailing is a viable life strategy. I'm looking at you, life. I'm looking at you. So join us.
So it's not a viable life strategy, but it is a viable strategy to end life.
It's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you want it to be. So we will see all of you tomorrow at again, I want to say 7.
That's also at 7. They're going early too, but they're not longer.
Thank God for that.
It's barely going to be over 2 hours.
Right. So, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow at 7 for War Games, the good show, before we, learn where we really are. And then we'll see you Sunday at 7 again for Survivor Series, where you just question, what am I doing with my life? To which I will answer with all the bitterness in the world, not much, friend. Not much. Ashton, take us home.
Or at least not enough, right?
That too. So do better. You take us home, Ashton.
And then on Monday and Tuesday, we'll see you at 8 p.m. Eastern time because we're live reacting to the post-Survivor Series Raw and SmackDown. Gosh, it is just such a great time to be a Twitwell fan, isn't it, John?
Oh, absolutely. The party never stops.
This party will not stop. It can't stop. It won't stop. It refuses to stop. That said, though, we also do have our Wednesday content, the usual stuff, except, no NXT review this coming week because NXT TakeOver is literally tomorrow, and we don't talk about NXT 3 weeks after a TakeOver. So, now, I guess that's about all we've got for you guys. TakeOver tomorrow, Survivor Series Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Raw, SmackDown. It's going to be, I'm not going to say fun, but I will say interesting. It's going to be interesting at the very least. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is yet to be seen. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you loved it. And if you're new, be sure to click that bell icon and get those notifications. Join that notification squad. Follow us both on Twitter, like our Facebook, buy our merch on Teespring, and donate to the Patreon. Any kind of donation will get you 2 extra Q&A questions a month. If you're not a patron, you only get 3. If you are, you get 5. And then $3 a month gets you into the Discord, and any amount, no matter what, will accumulate over time and allow you to request live reactions for wrestling shows of your choosing. Which reminds me, next Friday, is it this Friday? Holy shit, I got to pull up the schedule myself now because it might be this Friday. It might be, well, no, it can't be this Friday because today's this Friday. So it's next Friday. Son of a bitch. Next Friday, we are going to be live reacting to SummerSlam 2002. And then the following Tuesday, we're going to be live reacting to Rev Pro Uprising 2018. So we've got 2 Patreon requested live reactions coming up on Friday the 23rd and Tuesday the 27th. But yeah, that's what you can do if you donate to the Patreon, is request live reactions from us to wrestling shows that you want us to live react to that we haven't yet. It's pretty awesome. You guys get content control just for donating to the Patreon. All that said, though, the biggest thing that we ask you all to do is to share. Share this video, share this channel with all your wrestling fan friends. Let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube wrestling community. We are Twitwell, and we are the workhorses of the YWC. And if you don't believe me, look no further than the schedule. I actually just updated it earlier today. And I mean, hell, this week's been pretty loaded. We're doing by Wednesday, we will have done at least 1 commentary every day for 9 consecutive days. Last week, we did 8 commentaries over a 3-day period. So yeah, go ahead and challenge us on whether we're workhorses or not. I'll point you to my Twitter, to the pin tweet, to the schedule, and you'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I guess you're right. You guys really are workhorses. And it gets even crazier during the summer when we do G1 Climax, and we cover every day of that. And it's also going to get pretty crazy during the spring too, because now we're doing Best of Super Juniors as well. So thanks, New Japan, for giving us all the content we could ever ask for and actually being of quality. That all being said, guys, though, we hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you all tomorrow night for NXT, or Sunday for Survivor Series, or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever the hell day you decide to show up. But whatever it is that you decide to show up to, all that we ask is that you remember to stay tuned.